My name is Daniel Weitz. I'm a 21-year-old American composer. I primarily do concert music and film scores. Though the medium is sonic and I create music, the main goal is to create imagery in one's mind and not ascribe or prescribe what those images should be. I began as a cellist when I was 5 years old. I wanted to be a professional cellist, and that kind of like distilled in me a love for that kind of Western canon of music and romantic music in particular. I also started playing jazz piano and jazz guitar. Cello became very intense, and I really needed a break from it at times. And so I saw piano and guitar as these kind of amazing creative outlets where I could be unmitigated and where there are no expectations. And I could kind of explore like you would hope one could do in music, you know. Because I went from cello to instruments like that, it kind of opened up this whole ensemble vision where I was playing with harmonies all the time. I had different instruments in my arsenal and I could see that they played different roles. That made me want to compose a lot. I thought about all the things that I was playing on piano and I thought, what if all of these were cellos rather than my finger hitting these keys, you know? And so I think that's where my interest in composition started. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that I often use other media when I'm trying to figure out what the narrative should be. If I'm inspired by music, then I will write a poem while listening to the music, or I'll make a sculpture. Months later, ideally, because then that means I've forgotten kind of what that specific experience was, then I can write a piece based on the art that I created. And I think it's very effective in creating something that's new from old parts, you know, like recycling. When I notate scores, I use Sibelius. This is something that I'm working on right now. Might be cool to have in there. I think you might enjoy this game. This is drum set, piano, violin, and cello. So it's kind of like a classical, right? A classical form where you have this piano trio, inject a drum set in it and like smashes it to bits. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Everything's subject to change. This is just what I'm working on right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah. The space is for recording and mixing. I like to come here sometimes if I want to mix a project so that I can have these really nice studio monitors and I can really hear an unadulterated version of what the audio file I'm creating is.
Okay, I'm going to move one of the lamps into the room. That small lamp on the floor does not turn on.
You are constantly getting inspired throughout your life and influenced by different things, whatever art you consume, whatever life experiences you have over the course of that time. You have to incorporate those things into it because you're a person and you're elastic. Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
It really is true that I'll compose something for one purpose, and then the next day I'll come back to it with a fresh set of eyes and a fresh set of wrinkles in my brain. I'll realize that it's beckoning to be made into something that's very specific and that's completely different from what I had initially intended. Titles of my pieces, they are the best articulation of how I am in a certain moment. The piece I'm writing right now is called May I Come In? The piece consists of a pianist going inside the piano and holding down the sustain pedal and knocking on the beam as if they're knocking on a door and asking the strings if anybody is home. And the cellist knocks on the cello and looks in the F-hole and goes, is anyone here? And people all whisper, welcome, and play the instruments in these kind of like luscious cascades, very like impressionist way. The instruments invite you in. I don't know what that means in my life, but it's an analogy for something, and I can feel it, and that's why I'm writing it. So that's my answer.